Good evening. You're listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I'm your host, Rob, broadcasting to you not from Tulsa, Oklahoma, but from the Pinos Palace in the Extreme Studios just west of Orlando, soon to be hit by a Cat 3 hurricane, Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Rob, here with
Yep.
somebody from the Great Midwest called RDB helping me discuss our TV show here. Now, of course, we're reviewing Tulsa King Season 2, Episode 2, the show by one of the 476 episodes of produced TV that Tyler Sheridan has because he's dominating the landscape. He's overtaken Ryan Murphy. And RDB, I know last week when we talked about Season 1, it had been a while since we had talked about the first episode and compared some things here too. I found this episode to be not lighthearted, but an easy ride to going through it too. And there's a lot of stuff going on it, but it doesn't seem like it picks up and drops off. It just seems like it's
Yep.
steady, smooth sailing, setting up for stuff with just a few Dwight isms and all that too. So where it almost feels like it's a non-episode to me. What's your take?
Considering what we had with the season premiere, this episode was kind of it's kind of just coasting. We're introducing another character into this, as you see, as people saw on the thumbnail, we have two new faces on there, or at least a couple. One was a returning character, and that is the sister of she's supposed to be the sister of Stallone's character.
Mm-hmm.
She is now pretty much in this new episode, and she's been basically on a communication with his daughter. And his daughter's like, "Hey, would you want to come out here?" He's like, "So." So Joanne comes out, and the funny thing about Joanne is Annabella Sciorra. Her and I think it was Max Casella who plays Armand. We're both in the other characters that were also in Sopranos, but I'm gonna tie this into Backdraft, and this is kind of you're gonna go like, "What? How does this? How does
Give it to me."
So she, along with Rebecca De Mornay, were in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle together.
That's correct, sir.
So, whoa! It's like an actress from Backdraft was in a movie with this actress who's now in Tulsa King. Like I said, it's like I was like, dang. But she was also in Jungle Fever though. For those who remember that movie.
Oh, that was a popular one with a song too. That was Stevie Wonder and all that. That's what we would call splack back in the day. Black.
Yeah.
So it's really popular.
But basically, the trial is going to continue. The FBI goons or whatever the Stooges are still following him, and the press wants an interview with him. So he's basically finding new creative ways to avoid the press at his hotel. He's only bothered. We even get the return of Tyson's dad.
Yes, finally.
Nor did the voice. Yeah, who still does not like Manfredi at all.
He has that right.
Even though he helped him out in the last season with the bar fight.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about here, like I say, this episode doesn't necessarily build to any one particular scene.
No.
There's a celebrity guest at the end, which we'll mention. But one of the things I liked about here, just starting right off the bat, as I said, whenever Dwight does some of his like real world kind of one-offs here, it's kind of interesting. So like he goes to get some cash to mail a package, and he's got like a wad of hundreds or whatever, and he goes in the FedEx or whatever. And he says to the dweeby guy, "Hey, yo, you need to send this to New York," or like that. It's like, okay, will that be, FedEx or Amex or whatever? It's like, cash. He goes, "Oh, no, we don't do it." It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he goes on a little rant about how businesses don't take cash, which, of course, dollar bills were just the backing of silver and gold, which are in the United States Constitution, not the fiat currency we have now. But the point is Tyler Sheridan, at least in this series, likes to point out some of the current things too, because he's involved in crypto, weed, and of course one of the things that happens here again is the side idea of him getting the windmill from the guy he met in jail to figure out how to do it, and he knows nothing about it. He looks at it as an opportunity, but he doesn't understand all the rules and regulations. And we get the big bank scene here where they go in there and they kind of rant against him. So you're getting some, I don't know if they're political ideas from Sheridan or whoever the writer is for it, but definitely they make them known, but they don't necessarily lead to anything.
Yeah, the banks. The bank scene was interesting because, well, it ties in with the whole windmill of the clean energy.
I'm sure it'll all connect. Everything will connect.
It does all connect because Dwight does go meet with the guy he met in prison who gave him the idea about the windmill. And he says, "Hey, how would you like to make money? He's like, he makes a deal with this guy. You'll be rich. It's like, I'll give you a quarter of the percentage. This." So he's like, the guy's like, well, give me, I need $7 million over. It's like, so he goes to the bank, goes talks to the guy, and the guy says, well, we only do like $10,000 withdrawals. We can't do that big thing. So he's like, well, let me get my boss Karen. I'm thinking like, oh, Karen, that's such a red flag these days when someone says name. Like, so they kind of like give you a bait switch there. Karen comes out. She's actually a pretty nice girl. She doesn't. But she tells him
she was not Karenish. No pun intended.
No. She was a normal Karen, and honestly, giving Karen's bad name are all the other Karens. But anyway, she basically explains to him same things. He's like, well, I'm trying to do a startup business. She's like, well, then you need I need your credit history, all this stuff, and he's like, but listen to me, Karen, like, what if I have something, if I was Thomas Edison walking in here, he says this, Thomas Edison walking into a bank. He's at that light bulb.
It was
propped
up. My goodness.
Yeah. So Thomas Edison walks into a bank, but he needs money to start his business out. He's like, and which says, well, you need this. He's like, well, we'd still be living in the dark, wouldn't we? Like it's a
little cutesy though.
It is a cutesy though. Yeah, it's not meant to be like super serious, but it's kind of like tongue in cheek. Just like in the first season, he talked about getting a credit card, debit card.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole thing. He's like, cash is king. He's like, why are we using plastic? Say with the pronoun game stuff. But you expect that because despite Stallone, I guess Stallone is a Democrat, but I don't think he's new Democrat. I think he's old school Democrat still.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So
he's actually kind of anti-gun, allegedly.
He is.
But he borders on some libertarian stuff.
Yeah, but it's not the point, though. Like I said, the bank scene was kind of funny, though. But, so, like I said, I love the Tyson's. It's like, I can still get the coffee in the mug. He's like, look at this. Like, I went to the bank, and it's like giving you.
It just wasn't funny.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but.
But here's the thing. These are cute scenes. They're not adding up to anything. They're just there. There's one thing I wanted to get into and ask you about, but before that, I wanted to mention the only serious thing that I thought was actually the best stuff of the episode was it Thresher, I guess, the silver-haired fox kind of guy that seems like a really good foil. We talked about him from episode 1. He goes and has a hookup.
Oh, Neal McDonough. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a hookup that's the U.S. district attorney for that area or whatever. And he basically lets him know, hey, I want you to personally oversee this. And he's like, well, I will personally do that. And he's like, okay, that's when then they clink glasses, whatever, because they're meeting like in the old man cave kind of thing. And so the problem I'm having with some of the cutesy stuff is that I don't really understand the point of why he's trying to be his own attorney in such a big deal. It makes absolutely no fucking sense at all. And so it's interesting because it's interesting, but it's also, I think, bad writing. And this is what I want to get into a little bit. So the cutesyisms and this and that, we see things are building. It's a slow burn. But he goes in there to see the judge. The judge is getting ready to talk about, okay, here's the outlines of the case, when we need a jury and this and that. And the U.S. district attorney comes in and he knows that whatever, but it's like your alarm bell should be going off that the guy that's normally going to go against you is not being replaced by somebody. And he's smart enough to go see the guy to basically try to talk about a deal or whatever. And this to me is the poorest writing thing I've seen in this show, where the guy gets a phone call on a cell phone while he's talking to him. And he goes to look at it or whatever. And the old school address book's right sitting there with a name on it that you see Stallone look at, and he realizes, hey, he knows this bad dude that we met at the party before. And then he's just like, he kind of clamps up, and I'm like, that just seemed like there should have been another way he came across that, or had the old school instincts to see that, because it makes no sense that he's trying to represent himself in court, and despite all the algorithm stuff they talk about with picking a jury, which is kind of funny, it's like I don't understand why they're trying to do that.
I'm gonna argue against it because since season 1 they've proven that everyone else in Tulsa is an idiot.
You're
So
still in a courthouse.
You're in a courthouse. Yeah, it's great. They're in a courthouse. Doesn't mean that they're all. Like I said, every character you come across in this series is stupid. They're in a backward water or backwards town or backwoods town. Like I said, so with the guy who's basically in debt to Neal McDonough's character, the DA, him leaving the thing on there, that's something he probably would do. I said that because he's not that bright. He's also in a bind. He's not thinking straight because he's got pressure from this guy because he owes money to. His campaign was bought by this guy. So he has he's kind of nervous. So yeah, him leaving the name on there was all right. Because otherwise, how would you write that Stallone finds out this guy is a dirty DA? Unless he has people following him and taking photos of him, trying to blackmail him. And Stallone's not that kind of person. At least his character's not in this series. So him thinking he's gonna take on the court thing by himself is true to his credit, his character. He's a man. He's not that bright either. His daughter actually told him, he's like, she's the reason why he's appealed to post bail because she posted it. Otherwise, he would have been in jail. Still, he would have been locked up. He never would have post bail. Like I said, Dwight's not. He's smart, but he's not that smart.
Yeah.
He's got that. I don't need anybody to do it. I got to do it myself. I'm a made man. So he's, like I said, that's why later on there with he's still not. He's somewhat street smart, but he's also not up to date with certain things too. So it's like, I don't know, like I said, everybody here is learning on a curve. I'd say that in this series.
Okay.
But there is character growth though. I do like that though.
It's true. And I think that the one thing that we saw a little bit of the guy that got drunk, the Joe Pesci wannabe, Joe Pesci like guy.
Armand,
yeah, Armand, where he's like, hey, where's your envelope? He's like, I'm having a tough time, Ball. I was like, well, I can make it double next week. So that's kind of a throwaway thing, but obviously they're setting up a couple things in this episode.
Armand's gonna betray him.
Well, they're setting up where a couple different people I think could.
Good, yes.
Because one of the subplots in here really isn't Armand, right?
No.
Or something else we'll talk about here at the end with a phone call. But the fact that I don't know if you want to call it a B level, C level, it's just an alter of one. But the guy that I remember when you described in season 1 where Stallone goes to buy the car with his whatever, and they kind of do a little thing like, hey, you wouldn't sell it to him because you know the way he looks, but you look at me and you would. And it's like, yeah, whatever, shut up. They go back to that guy and they show him with some commercials. And what I liked is the fact that over 2 episodes now, they knew they were going to bring him in and they wrote it as an angle. But all these side guys are going, you know what? We're going to take things upon ourselves. Let's go steal all these catalytic converters because they got platinum in them. And they explain it to you if you don't understand what's going on. And I get it. And they steal them all from the guy, but they use it as a way to go leverage the guy later for protection. And they give him back some stuff and all that. And I'm like, I get it. But I just was thinking Dwight knew everything that they were doing and was kind of like overseeing, like, are you going to do this? Okay, so how are you going to do it? Because I think we saw that. And then here, I feel like they're almost like acting on their own. Am I seeing that wrong, you think?
No, I think you are, because Dwight is when the guy came out, they show up, he's like, hey, and Dwight's setting up to the guy needs protection. Even what's the name at the end, the bartender. Yeah, he says there's played by Garrett. Mitch Keller is the character's name. Says like, well, hey, I'm returning I got all your converters. We were able to find it. We were tricked on the hoodlums, and stuff. And the guy's like, really? Because the guy in the car salesman, going over, who was a dick to Dwight in the first season.
Yep. Dwight
has no remorse for him really, but they give him back half his stuff because Dwight's like, I feel bad for the guy because we pulled him over because he's such an idiot, So give him back half his stuff, and then so when Mitch goes in and says, "Hey, we were able to round up at least half your stuff, was stolen," and this is where Mitch just says like, you know what, I have a friend who might be interested in because he trying to charms him up this, and I love this. He charms him up.
He did a good job here. This is a good acting scene.
Yeah, it's like I have a friend who might be interested in buying car, the business where the guy's like, well, I always wanted the flight, wife always wanted to move to Florida. He's like, Florida, eh?
Yeah.
No,
Florida man wannabe.
Yeah. So I like the fact that he's so Dwight's gonna get into that as far as buying that for whatever reason. Like Dwight's just trying to expand. Mm-hmm. Now the thing is that we don't 100% that he actually was. Like said, we don't know who his friend is. He just hints at it. Maybe Dwight really wants to get it. I don't know what reason he would.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, there's a few things going on here. As far as going on, he goes and says the Delany, and there's not a keeping her. Remember, basically, her scene was to let people know that hey, she's still around.
Exactly.
This episode. Exactly. Bust his balls a little bit,
like every woman, she wants a man she can't have because she's like, aren't you gonna ask me out? He's like, when I have a clear schedule, maybe. And she's like, go change in stall number 3, and it's like, or my office or whatever. And it's like, okay, where is this going?
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I said,
I feel like she should be the one that's running the town, not the dudes.
Well, here's the thing, though. She knows Carl Thatcher, Neal McDonough's character. We don't know exactly what their relationship is. If she's working for him, because she has a very successful ranch, and Carl Thatcher owns a lot in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So the thing about this is it's his territory, right? And what I thought was kind of interesting at the macro, the big level, the looking at the forest, not the trees, kind of bullshit description is that. When you think of all the different things, they don't seem like they're related. But when you think of like, Morano was talking in chat, there's a lot of different kinds of blues. Blues is blues.
A lot of breadcrumbs for things. Right? Yeah.
Exactly. So how are all these things going to be connected? Because obviously a bank is a great place to do something with money. You have to go to a certain kind of bank to get the kind of money he needs for the windmills. Windmill farms are going to be a part of it. I don't think it's a red herring.
So if he buys the place, the car dealership, he could raise the money there properly with credit stuff, and then he could basically get the loan.
And he can use it to launder as well. But the other thing too is that you got Thresher kind of still being somewhat smart about it. But the guy who's talking to, Frank Grillo, is like the mastermind, and he's over in Kansas City. In Kansas City has their own style of barbecue, just like other places have the blues and barbecue.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that these two guys are, for lack of a better term, long distance talking, and they're kind of arguing. But what made it really interesting to me is, all these things are going to be related. A car dealership, a windmill farm, their new and improved entry level pot place that they've upgraded, right? Where everybody goes to, which we'll talk about in a minute. The bank, I think I mentioned the bank, but when you think of the Midwest like that too, I mean, Florida has a lot of agriculture. It's changed, and most of it's moved down south and a lot of the citrus industry. But there's a big beef down here in Florida, not like Texas or anything, but there's definitely horses there too. Don't tell me, to your point, that Dana Delaney's character doesn't have some huge role because of the resource involved. When you have horses, you've got what is called old money. This is somehow going to be related to it all. And what do you see? Not Thresher, but Frank Grillo's character doing. He's taming a horse when we see it talking to the guy, and so he's not just a ranch hand stud. He's the real deal. You know what I'm saying? He's like old school cowboy. There's a connection there.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I distinctly remember in the first season talking about she's divorced.
Yes, I'm wondering if it's his ex-wife.
Yeah,
that's where I was going with it.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. That'd be really, because not only does Frank Grillo's character think that hey, why is Manfredi, I forget what the company the family he works for. Oh, is Inverness. Why? Because he thinks that the Inverness mafia family were encroaching on his territory because Manfredi's there.
Right. This is perhaps the best angle of it all because Chicky basically calls him up to let him know, and it's like he's like, "Hey, fuck it, I don't have to see them. They'll kill him for me." That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And I want to point out, if you don't know who this actor is, the guy who plays Chicky, Domenick Lombardozzi, he was in Reacher season 2. He was the cop. He's also in The Wire. Guy is a phenomenal actor. He brings a lot to that role. So just a few minutes of scene time he has in this episode is great.
It reminds you he is the heavy.
Yeah, he is. Well, not only the heavy, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hates Manfredi because Manfredi doesn't respect him. He can never do anything to earn. He killed his father because his father didn't respect him. The guy is a nutball, a butterball. No, but yeah. So if you want to get to the ending part later on there, like, so he calls up. He's been last issue, or I was saying issue comic books. Last episode, he was in contact with one of Stallone's right hand man's guys who defected.
Yes.
I think it's Goody, Dennis Goody Cagarni,
Yes.
and he says, he's like, hey, I understand there's some differences and all that stuff inside, but if things work out, what's going on, Manfredi ends up going away. How would you like to be in charge of Tulsa?
He's like, oh, think about it. It's like, is that a yes? And he goes, it's not a no. I'm like, I like that.
Yeah. But like I said, he could be playing Chicky for all we know for Stallone, because Stallone, Chicky killed his friend Jerry.
Yep.
Is a good and he obviously you can't trust Chicky because Chicky's unstable. They don't know that he killed his father, but man, like, knowing the way he's acting irrational and everything like this, it's like you could probably pick it up in his voice. But yeah. So Stallone is now looking at two things, well, three actually. Jail time. He's because and will the feds following him? Will they play a part with the downfall of Frank Grillo or even Carl Thatcher? So that's going on too. Can we trust his Mitch, the bartender, who actually gets a chance to sing in this episode? I thought it was interesting because started out with him singing at the bar.
Yes. Little guitar stuff.
It fits his character. Yeah. And his song, and all the songs in there were really were interesting. So they bring in this country singer. I forgot all about him. I guess he's been around for about 2 years or more. So his name is Jelly.
Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll.
It upsets me because every time I keep forgetting to upload my Blue Murder album, which is one of the better ones from the late 80s. They had John Sykes, the guitarist and writer of most of the songs that Whitesnake got really popular for in the 80s, including Still of the Night. And David covered I got so jealous and booted him out. And they had a great little tune called Jelly Roll. Every time I go to search that up on YouTube to listen to it or something, if I'm doing some work or like that, it comes up with this country stuff. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And it's this dude here.
No. So
he's about 4 bills, heavily tatted, and he's got a very soft voice. And he's heavily auto-tuned.
So Stallone did not have a writing credit for this episode. He did in the first episode. So maybe that's why some of the scenes you don't like as much, because Stallone wasn't really
like fluff
involved.
To me.
Yeah, it is. And so we basically, this Jelly Roll guy comes in and this is at the opening of Even Higher, I guess, their weed club, their new place where they're selling weed stuff. Mm-hmm. And Stallone thinks that this guy's degenerate because Gracie comes out and says, hey, you got to meet this guy. He's like, what? Ooh, what?
Gracie seems like a genuine sweetheart.
She is. Her character is really grown since when he first took over. Yeah. She was a paranoid pothead. Same with the other kid.
Yep.
So like I said, there is some character growth in here too. You're starting to like a lot more of the characters. I can't really think of any characters on here that I dislike. Armand, I don't trust him. He's a weasel. The guy is in a tough position. His wife, basically left him. He owes child money, but he also owes money to Stallone. And he got humiliated. He was drunk the last episode when they met.
You're gonna have to cut him loose.
So he told him to go home, and he doesn't like being, So I could see him if he's approached. Maybe for a deal, that's the double cross Manfredi, or just be a snitch,
Yeah.
He also does work at the horse ranch, so Frank Grillo could pop up and just start.
It's gonna happen.
Oh
yeah.
But they already did send somebody at the bar in the first episode. Frank Grillo sent one of his guys in there, spy on him, and none of them. I guess nobody was under the wiser. I guess
nobody knew.
No.
But the way it's shot is we're supposed to know that they're being watched by his team, and this is the dude doing it who's a nobody right now.
Yeah. So that's going on with that, but it's like as far as what's going on with Goody and Chicky, and will Armand betray him? Is Mitch, who's his friend? Is obviously it's going to be probably Stallone's character, but he does say friend. He doesn't say who though. He kind of leaves it hanging there.
Yeah.
We also got the other unknown as far as Tyson's dad, because he crashes. Stallone's character crashes at Tyson's parents, and then this is something I love. This is kind of cool because when in the very beginning episode, man, Freddy goes, he's gonna have breakfast. He's like, where's my egg whites? What the hell is this shit?
Yeah.
Eggs are supposed to be. Yeah, it's like, and he's like,
turkey bacon.
Yeah, turkey bacon. He's like, what is this? He's like, well, a heart attack. It's still an attack. it's like I kind of. So then when he goes and crashes at Tyson's place, he's in Tyson's sister's bedroom, so he's in a comfortable bed. He's in his little pink little thing there, and then he gets out. He's wearing Tyson's clothes, his pajamas, and he goes sits down for breakfast. Tyson's mom, sweet little lady, wakes him up.
She makes him
upstairs.
Food.
yeah, and she gives him a plate of food, and then Tyson's dad is like, "What the hell is this shit? Where's my egg whites?" Like they keep the joke running, and then he sees that Stallone's plate, and he's like, "What the hell? Why is he getting all the good stuff?" So then he's reading the paper, and he's like, Tyson's dad tells Tyson, he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go work a real job," and the man Freddy kind of smirks a little bit. He's like, because he can tell that he's basically that Tyson's dad is still intimidated, by what he does.
Tyson's dad's right. He represents the old school mentality, an honest job, the blue collar kind of stuff or whatever. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, and I appreciate the fact he knows who he is, but he's still standing up for what's his. So it's not like he's shitting on him, but he's letting his point be known because his role as a father is to, demonstrate the values he expects his son to have. Because his son's, rapping in the car, he's doing his own thing. He's taking the quick way into making a fast buck, and I like how his dad doesn't approve of it because that's not sustainable. It really isn't.
Freddie could have a scene with him telling me, he's like, well, just because you work a blue collar job doesn't mean you're not working for somebody crooked,
Yeah, something. I mean,
yeah, it's like, because you think about it, corruption's everywhere. Wherever you work, there's always somebody higher up that's been involved in something. But anyway, so yeah, this episode was I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent. It is, you're right though. It is a little bit filler, but I think it's all more like Marnie said in the comment. It's breadcrumbs. We're getting a little bit of information here. We don't know how they're going to relate to everything. I didn't think about the whole Garland dealership until like how that's going to relate until we were talking the bank scene again. I'm thinking like, well, he needs to establish stuff. He needs to get the $7 million, but so he's going to basically get more money from the business, and because so, and then we also got as far with what's going on with the federal case and stuff. It's gonna be a whole season thing. I don't think it's gonna be like done in 3 or 4 episodes. I think it's gonna be the whole entire season, and at the end, you might get a verdict.
One type of cop drama that you've recommended me for years that I'm way behind on because I can only watch it in small doses is a show called Bosch on Amazon. And the one thing about Bosch I've realized now, 3 seasons completed, going to the 4th, is, while not being long, each one has their own independent theme to it. There's an arc that's building through all these things, like his wife, or I'm sorry, his mom, who had been murdered, because she was a prostitute way back in the day, and how it's related to current political figures and how it's unraveling very slowly. How he has a partner, and then his partner ends up probably not being a part of him because of something that happens. But then there's stuff like too that that really intrigued me. Like there's a guy that I totally forgotten about because I had missed a season for about a year, but he rides around on a bicycle and he shoots and kills people. And then he showed one extended scene of the guy, and he's bicycling, and he goes into like an Asian farm co-op, and he's an African American gentleman, I believe. Which, you go in there and he's just helping them like plant stuff in the garden. Like, what the fuck is this? But that's going to play out to be something. So whatever the current season's arc is, it's like you almost don't care about, but it's all these little threads that they'll put in each season that kind of build towards something bigger. You're like, okay, that's the pop at the end. Oh. This show's doing that, especially in this episode. I think for me, Tulsa King feels best when it's doing two things. When it's showing Stallone, not necessarily with anybody in particular, but when he gets a chance to kind of rail against the system and put some idea about it, like with its bank cards or genders or plastic bags versus whatever, that's kind of cute and amusing. But really the best thing to me feeling about the show is that I want to feel like it's him and his group, that he's not going to be able to trust all of them.
Mm-hmm.
How is he going to get his way out of this pickle that he's in? Not with federal agents, they're there, but that's like a pressure valve against everybody. You've got thrown at you that we did not mention, but because it only came up briefly and it'll get bigger, I'm sure, next episode. There's a big thing, Tyson's father reading the old school paper, when he sets it down, he notices, kind of like the name on the date catalog there, that there's a Chinese gang infiltrating the weed industry in the state. So that's going to be an issue. So you're going to have probably the triads, right, or the Tongs or whoever they are. And you've got
bad business,
Grillo's gang, and then you've got what's his face is not Frenchie from New York. So you've got 1, 2, 3 different external agents against you. So it's 1 versus 3. And then, oh, by the way, like I say, you got the government out there that's probably against anybody, but they're really hanging towards Freddie. So I like seeing how all these things are pushing against him. And while it's nice to watch, I'm looking at his group going, I'm curious who's going to stand up, and to your point, who's going to be trained. Because the one thing here with Chicky at the end, you don't know if it's going to be that guy. Armand's an easy one to go, yeah, he's going to turn, but you don't know right now.
I think Armand is the red herring they want you to think. I don't think anybody will betray him. Like I said, this show has a way of making you think one thing, and then you find out, it's got you go to a different direction. If you're not paying attention, there's a lot of breadcrumbs. If you're not paying close attention, something's you'll escape your viewpoint. But you bring up the Chinese, the newspaper, yes,
Chinese connection.
The Chinese are probably gonna be either enemies of Carl Thrasher, or they're going to be working with him. And if he struggles, and my prediction, if Neal McDonough's character is basically having issues, and he's basically with the Chinese, could we get an old man style team up like we have in the Old Man? We're going to have Stallone and Neal McDonough and Frank Grillo teaming up. That'd be insane, But
interesting. I still think the women are going to end up running everything. I don't know why. I just think that would be kind of cool.
But like I said, you bring up this Stallone's daughter. Yeah, she is. I forget which one it is.
Is that Sasha, maybe?
Sistine. I can't remember.
One of them has a podcast, and the two of them are on her all the time. And I don't really know them well enough.
Well, I guess I haven't paid attention like 2 or 3 years what they're doing. I remember they had two sisters had a podcast. I don't remember which ones it was though. But anyway, like I said, something's gonna happen. The cop lady, the FBI agent, how will she play into this, or is she done for the season?
No, I don't think she is. And I'll close by saying this: when last episode, when he goes up to meet her, and he's like, "Look, there's something there. I get it. We're different people. It's not going to happen." And he leaves. He doesn't apologize for anything. He just let her know, "Hey, there was something." Whatever, and not just one night of great sex with somebody 25 years your junior or senior, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
But he's like, just remember, you got played. And he's not fucking with her. He's not trying to piss her off. He's not manipulating. He's just letting her. He goes, I understand. And he says it really good. That's why I think Stallone is really good as an actor. He goes, look, I understand the situation. It's just not going to happen between us. But you know what? Just remember, you got played. I understand it. I forgive you. It's not your fault. That's going to eat at her, I think, because when she gets pissed, she makes decisions. When she's not, then shit happens. That's what I like about her character. So I expect to see that a bit
honestly, more. I think that she's going to get somehow involved investigating the corrupt DA that's working for Carl Thrasher.
Say that again?
She's going to get involved somehow in investigating the corrupt DA that's working for Carl Thrasher, or Thrasher, whatever his name is. Neal McDonough's character. So obviously, I think she'll get involved with that somehow. That's my prediction, but we'll find out.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts?
No. Honestly, like I said, I'm enjoying the show. If you haven't watched season 1, it's on Paramount Plus. You can go watch it there. It's also available at Walmart. I've seen it on DVD, first Blu-ray, whatever. You can find it there. You can check out the series. And yeah, as I said, this is one of the 2 series that we were reviewing on, at least you and I are reviewing.
Right.
I know
We like the old man, and we like
old man.
Tulsa King.
Yeah,
You and I typically don't do
Tulsa
this.
King is a little bit more pop. I noticed it because it's Stallone.
Absolutely.
The old man is kind of I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm enjoying both of them. There isn't many shows on that you can watch that are actually just fun. These are both streaming. Well, FX is actually the old man is actually on TV. Then it goes on Hulu.
Yep.
This is just straight on Paramount. And if you like Yellowstone, this is the same guy who created Yellowstone, who's now working with Stallone to work on this. And obviously, this is a big plus if you are a Stallone fan. You know, you get to see some more Stallone content and it's just. I also got Garrett Hedlund. Garrett Hedlund, if you don't know who that is, Garrett Hedlund is from Tron Legacy. He plays Mitch Keller, the bartender in here. There's a lot of heavies coming in here as far as celebrities.
And I've always said I always like it when you make the physical location you're in, whether it's a city or a town or whatever,
part of
a
everything.
cabin in the woods.
Yeah,
a character of it. So they give you a few of the local shots. It's cool because he moves to a different hotel and you see some stuff. So it's cool. I'll probably never be in Tulsa my whole life. You never know.
No.
But I go, hey, those are legitimate sightseeing places there. They're not just tourist traps, right?
It's how I feel about watching Bosch. It's all shot in the Hollywood district of California, Los Angeles, all stuff. I never have no desire to go over there, but I get to see a lot of that cool. And it's great to compare some of those scenes where they're driving. You may recognize them in some of the Dirty Harry movies. Some of the other ones. So,
absolutely.
Or the Chuck Norris movies.
So we were talking to everybody listening that we've got a new poll up going into the Halloween season. Is that up now?
That is up since yesterday, and Frankenstein is in the lead right now.
Oh, nice.
1931, Dracula. Then you have 1931, Frankenstein, and 1932, Mummy are up in there. Pixel chose the 3. He's going to be with us this Sunday. So
nice. Yeah. So check that out, guys. It's always great when you vote and we get a chance to review something that you as a group likes there too. We're democratic that way, even though this is a Republican setup. Little voting reference in there too. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening. We got a couple more subscribers this week too, and a couple notes about some stuff. There's some comments. That's always appreciated.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see things go on. Columbo's, we're going to be reviewing that as well Sunday. Our Forever Night will be dropping, I believe, Thursday night, our most recent episode. So check that out. Looking forward to Halloween season. There's a lot of great stuff to talk about too, with some new content, some additional things dropping. So looking forward to that. Guys, have a good night. As always, stay extreme. Good night now.
Later, guys.